We've got a big story out of the Smokies.com. Is Dollywood the busiest park in America? This is by John Gullion. And if you've been paying attention to this channel and other places, Dollywood has quickly become one of the best theme parks in North America. As rated by TripAdvisor, it is the best. I confess, I don't agree with that. I love Dollywood. I think it's fantastic. I think it should be on your family's radar if it has not been thus far for you to take your kiddos to go see it. But if you said, is it better than Epic Universe? I don't think so. Is it better than Disneyland proper? I don't think so. But, folks, the great news is you get bored if you go to those places over and over. You got to look for more. And Dollywood, I do think, is a top 5 contender in North America. But what about attendance? How big is this place? Well, let's see. It says consistently ranked among the best park in America by the Golden Ticket Awards, Dollywood has, over the course of its 40 seasons, risen to be a player on the national scene. Dollywood has made the transition from a little bitty regional theme park to one of the best amusement theme parks in the United States. And boy, oh boy, did it do it in rapid fire. It really changed over the last decade. Holy cow. But where does it rank amongst its peers? Well, one way to measure is the aforementioned Golden Ticket Awards. However, they skew oddly sometimes as their voting base tends to be eclectic at best. Another way to measure, guess through turnstiles. In other words, attendance. While the Golden Ticket Awards voters cast their ballots based on their opinions, Joe Q Public votes with the wallet. With this in mind, the Theme Park Association, known as the TEA in theme park circles, recently released its Global Experience Index for 2024. And it provides another version of Dollywood's standing in the world. Overall, against North American theme parks, Dollywood comes in 18th with more than 3.1 million visits. However, here's what we need to pay attention to, and it lists out some of the other theme parks that would beat Dollywood. But this paragraph really matters. If we were to loosely speculate what Dollywood's year-round attendance would be if it averages a little over 1 million per quarter, talking about what if Dollywood was open January through April? Because Dollywood tends to open only to the annual pass holders and VIPs in March and doesn't really open to the public until April, and they do this for a reason. They have expanded this park tremendously. It's crazy. They're putting in entirely new lands every year, it seems, and they use that downtime, January through April, to basically go in and just revamp everything. But what if it was open during that time? Would it be enough to surpass Busch Gardens' 3.95 million or SeaWorld in San Diego's 4 million? We can't say definitively, but the year-round parks clearly have an advantage. Now, we've looked at the numbers, and we do believe that Dollywood would actually surpass those if it was open for the full 4 months that it's down, or 3.5 months. It would likely surpass that, which would put Dollywood in the top 10. So that's where we are. In terms of year-over-year growth, Cedar Point and Kings Island each saw 5% growth from 2023 to 2024, but Dollywood's growth was a more modest 0.8%. Now, here's what I would say about that, about the 0.8%. Dollywood is looking to expand. Dollywood is reaching capacity regularly. And if you've been, you know the parking lot is full. The park is crowded. They need more land. They have tons of attractions. It's not an attraction issue. They just need a bigger footprint. And they're working on that rapidly. If it continues to do this, it won't simply be one of the favorite theme parks in North America. It might be one of the busiest as well. Jonas, for now, though, Dollywood trails Disney significantly. Disney World, of course, is at 18 million in terms of Magic Kingdom. Dollywood would be at 4 to 5 million if it was open all year long. That's way below, but it also means, Jonas, that people can go and have a different experience, maybe in the last remaining years before this theme park really explodes in popularity and visibility. Jonas, your thoughts on Dollywood and what we've just learned in terms of the actual attendance?
Well, I'm with you. This is a fantastic theme park, and it's everything that a family could want in visiting a theme park. It has rides. It's not pretentious. It's wonderful, and I think the roller coasters that they have there, while they're not the hyper coasters that you might see at a Universal theme park, they have some was it Big Bear Mountain, the orange one that goes feels like almost the length of the park. Great roller coaster. It's got lots of live entertainment and there's just a great atmosphere and history to it. And I said the same thing when I first went to Dollywood. It is one of the most naturally beautiful theme parks that you will ever visit. So The question is not whether or not is it the ticket price? Well, it could be the ticket price, but mostly it's the value that you get for going there. And there's like 60 attractions. I cannot rave enough about how much I enjoy Dollywood and love to go back whenever I get the chance.
And now, yet, MJ. Well, Vash or Jonas, finish your thought real quick. What else did you have to say on that one?
That's all right. I think that this is them showing up with quality over time and people appreciating quality. Disney got mistaken with the idea that they need to run with headlines all the time, but that headline mentality, eventually people start to, you can spray perfume in the room, but eventually the smell of BS wades through.
Yeah, back at the Bushwick. Hey, MJ, I was actually a little bit surprised by this. I would have thought that Dollywood had higher attendance than this. I think, though, the problem here is Dollywood just needs to double in size, and that's crazy to say. But if they're at capacity all the time anyway, just go for it. Just invest like crazy and build this thing out, because clearly they're ready to compete on the national stage.
Yeah, it could be. I've never seen their site, like a site map, but if they can expand, that would be great. That might be in their future plans. I was actually curious to hear from Vash, because you visited Knott's Berry Farm recently, right? What would you, in comparison to Dollywood, Knott's Berry Farm, which one is better and bigger, and which one would you rather visit like most? Vash, I'm curious.
Oh wow, that's a really interesting question, MJ. I will say, you know, in terms of attraction counts, not all attraction counts are the same, obviously, and there are a ton of attractions over there at Knott's Berry Farm and Dollywood, actually, but not all of them are people eaters, right? So in terms of capacity afforded by some of those attractions, you know, they're not the kind that will allow you to have more people in your park, but there will be attractions that people can actually experience while in your park, if that makes at all any sense. In terms of which one's better, which one's worse, well, it's really interesting. I do have an affinity for Knott's Berry Farm, but only because, you know, I've grown up going to that park as a kid. I know it very well, but unfortunately Knott's has kind of suffered in recent years with declining entertainment options, and it has suffered most recently with the lack of investment. That's not to say that's a very different story into Dollywood. Dollywood is adding more entertainment. I mean, they hand you a big brochure of all the entertainment options actually available to you, which is really cool. And they're in a constant rounds of investment in order to build that park out and actually to add that capacity. So I do think you're right, bro. I think it is something where in order to increase the annual attendance, you are going to have to meaningfully increase that capacity, which they are in the process of doing. They've added some big lands recently. I know every single time I go down there are large construction projects actually taking place. So yeah, Dollywood's looking to overcome those issues.
The
People
odd
rave
thing about this,
dining. Mm-hmm.
the French loaf toast, French toast loaf. Jonas calls it cinnamon bread.
Yeah, because that's what it is. French toast is a completely different culinary item.
And they have their own hotel, right? With really nice like dining.
Two hotels. Delicious. And from what I understand, I haven't visited one of the offerings there, but I think it's the Oak and Ember is the name of one of the restaurants at one of the hotels that's supposed to be phenomenal. So we'll have to check that out sometime soon.
Water park as well.
Yeah, and I'll say this, Dollywood's problem for increasing capacity, which is the only thing holding them back from being up there, you know, at the 10 million attendance level. The only thing that the problem they have is they're built literally into mountains, and they don't have anywhere to expand their parking lot. So they're going to have to go vertical, and that is hugely expensive. We all know how expensive parking garages are, but I don't see any other way for Dollywood to increase attendance. They can increase their footprint. They've got plenty of land to do that, but parking space, they don't have enough of it. They'll have to get it.
Yeah. And that's the trouble with increasing capacity in general, right? And this is one of the reasons why Disney doesn't have to do something like that with its existing parks, because it's not just about increasing capacity within that footprint, whether it be new attractions, expansions, etc. But you also have to build up the infrastructure to support that capacity in all various different manners. That could include hotel lodging, but like Pro said, it could include parking, it could include walkways, and could include a host of other things that you have to include when you do increase your footprint meaningfully and your overall capacity right there. So it is not an easy thing for any theme park to accomplish. The other parks mentioned in that article I thought were very interesting as well. There's these kind of 5% swings and so forth. We have seen major swings when it comes to Six Flags' portfolio. That includes Cedar Point at this point. I believe Kings Island is in there as well. And so that might be one of the factors in attendance gain. You have to look at the trend line, and you have to actually see what those parks have experienced before in order to get an idea of, are you having true attendance increases, or are you recovering attendance from years past? Very interesting.
That's right. Folks, we love our mid-sized theme parks that are rising to the top. We love Knott's Berry Farm. We love Silver Dollar City. We love Dollywood and more. We support them. We hope that you do too. They're the kind of places that you can take your crew and have a wonderful time.
Thanks for watching That Park Plays News. For more information, consider checking out www.thatparkplace.com. And don't forget to subscribe, share, like, and send this out on your favorite social media accounts.